Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Let's continue. So last recording we ran into an awful experience with the previous Leonardo mission, and now we're doing the two remaining. Kill the Templar Overseer to recover the map showing the location of the war machine. Use the kick attack against the Overseer. Easy enough. So one of the things that I was thinking about in between recording the last recording and this one is Steam has this 2-hour no questions asked refund. So if you've played a game and you're and you've only played it for 2 hours, then you can very easily just get your money back. Here is a great example in which that would not work. Even if I hadn't left Assassin's Creed Brotherhood running, there's most certainly going to have been at least 12 hours of gameplay before you got to the Leonardo section that simply was just not playing right. Why is friendly fire on? Why am I stabbing my own characters? So, like, how do you fix something like that? Now, it's not to say you couldn't still have a good chance of getting a refund. You would just have to go through Steam's normal customer service process, which isn't, frankly, known for being the greatest. But it's there. Now, do you deserve a refund? Is not a question that's really worth asking, because if you feel you deserve a refund, I personally subscribe to the idea the customer is always right. So just say, do it. I don't think anybody should be begrudged if they didn't want to bang their head against doing that part of the game and felt like they weren't able to enjoy the game because of it. Can I get... Interesting. So I can't even do a 2. But I can send out these 5s to do 3s by themselves. If I have 3s. I may end up having to send these characters out to do 2s by themselves. I don't want anybody going out with a less than 100% guaranteed chance of success. But I suspect eventually, as we level up these characters, there's going to hit a point where we have to send them on missions that they might be able to lose anyways. I have 39,000 foreigns. 21 A's, whatever they are. I'm not even sure if the game ever bothered to tell me. And I'm going this way. Just wanted to check on the map to make sure the next part of this memory wasn't considerably far away from where I am now. And it isn't, but unfortunately it's still far enough for me to complain about the issue of them forcing us to walk around. Another great example of how this game is intentionally wasting your time, whether it's wasting your time to make you feel like you've gotten more than your money's worth, or whether it's wasting your time for some other reason, I don't know. This game certainly was made well before the Steam refund services, and it was made for consoles, and consoles in particular are known for not really having much of a having much of any not lock on here of a refund system anyways. So I would say for this game in particular, they're just intentionally making it longer because the previous games were longer. And so they've hurt themselves and said effectively that they don't feel they could make a short Assassin's Creed game. Now later on they did come off with some spin-off games that are side-scrolling, more like Mark of the Ninja games than actual Assassin's Creed games. And I'm not sure they sold very well, and I think there may have been maybe even a Game Boy game or something that came out for Assassin's Creed that probably didn't sell that well. But I imagine all of those were shorter. But if you're going to go AAA, if you're going to make a big game, it can't be a 5 or 20 hour experience. It's got to be that 60-hour experience. At least that's what they were thinking back then, and that's kind of what video game players were thinking back then. The Borgia have constructed a deadly naval war machine based on Leonardo's design. It must be destroyed before Caesare gains control of the seas. Full synchronization. Open one of the first 3 gates. And I'm supposed to talk with Eduardo.
Tell your comrades that only Eduardo may examine the invention up close to make the final adjustments.
Yes, Capitano.
He travels by boat to see the mechanism now.
Okay, so this is a full don't get detected sequence. Well, now for me personally, it's only been a few minutes since I did the last Leonardo mission, so that's going to be irritating in itself.
Tell your comrades that only Eduardo may examine the invention up close to make the final adjustment.
Yes, Capitano.
He travels by boat to see the mechanism now.
And see, you just, I think, have to dive and swim. See, I'm trying to fast swim, but I'm also trying to, I guess, just fast swimming from the area is not impossible to do. And at least we didn't have to go that far. It would really suck if I got detected right now.
Give me their plans.
You are the assassin, am I right?
I had to beat up the
Stop
last
chasing.
guy.
I will help you. Let me take you to them.
Grazie.
So, follow Eduardo to the dry docks.
Join the Papal Army, she said. Easy there. Good pay. Now look at me. Capitano di questa barca di merda.
So, I think I'm supposed to not interact with this and go down this way. Smoke bomb to disable guards. Assassinate them or flee before the gas wears off.
Stop! Did you get it?
So apparently I was supposed to climb up that wall that on the left there and maybe throw a smoke bomb then. This is not fun. It's not awful yet though. In comparison to the previous one, it's downright acceptable. And see, we're just in this canal section, and this feels like a section that was clearly meant to be part of a much bigger city, and then they barely finished enough to put one mission in it. Alright, so climb up here. And get those smoke bombs ready.
Stop, you!
Quick. I almost didn't get that done. And for full synchronization, I need to open one of these gates. So if I'm gonna open one of these gates, then that means I need to figure out a way through. And so So and I was detected. Nope, nope, nope. Seriously? How was I detected? Was there another guard on the other side? See, I'm like going for this full synchronization element. And I think I'm now way far behind. And I think the idea here is to keep things moving. Ah, I went too far ahead. So I started really far behind and then went too far ahead. Where are you? So we'll try this again. Now I don't want to get too far ahead. So as soon as it starts giving me warnings, reduce distance to target, we'll just wait. Reduce distance to target. Seriously, those warnings mean business. Like, those warnings mean business. So you kind of have to rush here or you will get seen. But this point is where I can just stop. But see, I don't think just stopping is the right move completely. So we're waiting. Nobody sees me. Is there anybody else that would detect me? No. And so that's full synchronization there. Was for me to open one of the first 3 gates for him, instead of him just waiting and doing it himself. And now we get up here. And mostly I think I can just run ahead. We'll just make sure we don't get too far away. Seems like we're still cool. Almost missed that jump. Almost missed that jump. Let's see, let's give him a little bit of room. I don't want to fail again. I'm too far ahead again. And see, I think I just would prefer I would have preferred to have stayed up top, but seems like that guy was gonna catch me. And this is exactly what I didn't want to do. Talk with Eduardo? What are you talking about, talk with Eduardo? Not right now. Game is bugging up again. Giving me silly advice. Oh, darn it. Is there any way up? Or am I just doomed? I think I'm kind of doomed. Let's see. Run up the wall, jump over here. I think I'm close enough that I can probably just lock on this guy and assassinate him. Mid cutscene, I tried to assassinate him, and he went immortal in the process. And see, I can get that kill as I'm dying, but that's not really justification or frustration alleviating. Like, there's nothing here, so I've got to go on this guy. And see, I'm trying to stay under this part, but I'm also kind of failing miserably. Of fast swim, fast swim, fast swim. Dive under, fast swim, dive under, fast swim. Almost got spotted. And there's no like high areas to hide. Why is the game doing this to me? Like, again, it feels like it's asking too much of me back to back. Oh, that area was not available. At the very least, we... Detection's now permitted. We're now free of all that. Gain access to the dry docks. And we know in future Assassin's Creed games there's naval battles. But it's not yet time for that, so... I seriously doubt there's going to be... Can I double assassinate these guys? Thank goodness for having the double assassinate build ability. That should have been in the double assassinate. Here's a treasure chest. We might as well take the money while we can. Mostly, I think I want the collectible things. Like 500 gold or florins is not really that useful nowadays, but one collectible to do a shop's quest might very well be very useful.
We are working day and night. My men cannot go any faster.
I asked, is it ready?
Nearly ready.
Then you should stay tonight.
Get away.
Notice that he's got one of those big butcher knives like I do. Break this. I kind of remember playing this section, I think. Either that or there was a section in the previous game. There must have been a section in the previous game that was not too different from this. Yeah, there must have been. Because I can't imagine that I really, after years and years, would have remembered doing... Yeah, there was a section just similar to this, except for it was a lot longer and it had a full boat instead of just a tiny little thing. And the elements of this game and Assassin's Creed 2 are so similar. It's ridiculous. It's kind of like a Pokemon Yellow and Red and Green, or Yellow too, I suppose, where the game is the same except for minor changes. Except for in this case, the minor changes are slightly more major. Let's just go here. And here. And I'm heavily suspected I'm not going to get in that machine. I mean, it's a dry dock. That means I'd have to flood the machine before I could even do anything with it. And these heavy armored people are succumbing to my lethal strikes as much as any of the others. So these guys were at the top, and they did not hear the screams of their friends or do anything about it. Well, I did flood the area, so we'll see what this is.
Let us see if you can bite your master's hand, shall we?
So, to start off with, we're going in circles, but it still feels like it is probably a better system than what we had before. There was a boat rowing section in the previous game too for a short animation at the very least if we didn't actually row. Alright, so I need to X this and see if we can burn the flags, I suppose. And flickering fire animations, poorly rendering. And I think that might be it. As most definitely a forgettable sequence. If that's all there is to it. Nope, there's more. I kind of expected there to be more considering we had to destroy 5 enemies before. It would seem kind of silly that we wouldn't have to do at least somewhat similar. But this is far from the naval battles we see later on in the game. I suppose these sections, in their own part, also showed themselves to be potentially here at the cannon section at the very beginning of the game. Because remember, that section also frustrated me horribly and there was no help there. Seems like I can just use health to repair my ship, by the way. I'm gonna have to swing around, I think, and just do a full circle. And I'm trying to do a very tight circle, and it is not succeeding at all. And this is just a big empty ocean setting. Let's see. With the sun. What if we went into this? Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Here we go. Go forward. And fire. And it doesn't feel like you have much of a setting as far as how far you want to shoot your cannon. You feel pretty suited that there's a pretty set distance. So that's 9 of those. Let's move a little away from the ship and see if there's anything else we needed to do. I could see you easily eliminating that part and just having to swim and sneak up on ships, which was an element of the previous game that we haven't seen at all in this game, where you needed to sneak into onto a well-guarded ship and maybe climb to the mast or do any of that. We're getting an achievement for every single one of these Leonardo things, which again makes them feel extracurricular, not necessary. I guess the right word there would be extraneous, or I could just say extra if I want to use big words. Moving on. Let's see. Fast travel. This time over to this one is our next goal. Let's check our inventory just to make sure the bank is not totally full of money, and it isn't. So we're good. I need a pigeon coop. There's another deposit made. Let's see. Do an arrow strike to help level up our assassin rating. Hire these. And then distract those guys. And where's the fast travel station? Here it is. Interact. We need to go to the one that's at the right, top right there. Not that one right there. Fast travel, fast travel, fast travel. How fast is fast travel? Not that fast. It's load then load. Trickery instead of actual quick engines. I always am left to wonder, what would this game play like if it was running on their most modern engine and they spent the energy to make sure it ran smoothly and do all the quality assurance to move it to a newer engine. Like, could you eliminate all the loads, or is it just completely incompatible because so many things have been hard coded to account for little bugs? Now, I guess in the example of Assassin's Creed games and their engine, you really don't need to be too questioning on that, because you kind of know that it wouldn't run any better on the newer engine, because the newer engines, while they moderately do run better, they also have a tendency to be even buggier. So, anybody else with any skill points? No. And this one's at a rank 6, and it can go to rank 7, so we know that's good news. So, if I send rank 6, and a rank 6, and a rank 6, they can finally go do a 4 by themselves and succeed. I think everybody else can probably do 3 difficulties by themselves. So if I can find any 3 difficulties, that would be nice. This one and this one. So no, these guys can't do 3 difficulties by themselves. This one and this one. Okay, that works. At 48,000 studs. No, not studs. I'm not playing a Lego game. 48,000 gold or feeling. Kill the Templar Overseer while recovering to recover a map showing the location of one of Leonardo's war machines. Use the pistol to kill the Overseer. Okay. We haven't used a pistol in a long time. Not so. Do we have to find who he is, or? Come on, come on. Lock on this guy and fire. Nope, nope, nope. Come on, switch. Switch and fire.
Now, on him!
Let's go ahead and kill this guy. And while at it, we'll use health. And while we're at it, we'll shoot this. Get some bullets back, get some smoke bombs back, get some health packs back, get some money, refill everything. I'd like some more crossbow arrows, bolts. Nobody wants to give me any bolts. Alright, well, whatever. They're all terrified. So the last memory, not great, but not awful either. So hopefully, if we get really, really lucky, this will turn out to be great. We can raise our standards a little bit and say, hopefully this last Leonardo machine will turn out to be great and totally fun. And then we would, at the very least, be approaching or maybe even surpassing 50% good versus 50% bad missions. These might be DLC doing the Leonardo war machines. If they are, they certainly don't deserve to be DLC or added at all. Leonardo's tank is an ambitious, devastating war machine capable of changing the face of battle. It must be destroyed. Do not take damage while in the tank. So this is another one of those areas that is half finished.
The invention is under guard, and I caged the spies.
Those who attempted to steal from treasury must be punished.
So if this is like what I think it is, we're going to end up having to do a lot of this to not get detected, while also keeping the guy in our view. See, we had a mission like this in the previous game, and it was really, really difficult to get it to work. And here I'm just making short work of it. Of course, I haven't hit a checkpoint.
I know that. There! After me! Hurry!
And see, I'm supposed to locate the architect of the tank. And then what? We've located him?
The invention is under guard, and I caged the spies.
Those who attempted to steal from treasury must be punished.
And see, I don't think I can just sneak. Like I don't think it's just sneak around. I'm glad this went by so fast, because if it hadn't, it would have been very problematic. Feels like there's more guards now walking around. So will this guy turn around and look the other direction? Yes, he will. So. And is anything going to change here or a checkpoint? Nope. So now I'm following the architect to a secluded area to now beat up the architect. Okay. Secluded enough area for you?
What do you want?
Where are the plans for the weapon?
On the table, at the opposite end of the fortress.
The device itself?
I am not sure, but you need 3 people to work it.
Come with me then.
No, we captured 3 soldiers. They are in a cell across from the plants. They will help you.
Ben.
So now checkpoint has been reached. Can we be detected? Or are we still limited? I think I can't be detected still. What alerted that guy? Was it because I was running towards him or what? So far not too bad, but we have had 2 false like starts here, 2 failed.
We'll be picking up his bloody coat.
Let's see if we can just make a mad dash this way. I suppose if you lose the second you're alerted, then you've got nothing to lose. So you might as well just make mad dashes towards what you're angling for. There's a couple of...
Dannato! He's getting away!
Not here.
Hey, you. So, get him. Corner the rat.
There's a guy up there too that saw me. All these people just appeared out of nowhere. I really felt like a false start again. Let's see. We see on the map there is a guy up here, so it must have just been. You know what? Let's just do this.
Where is Da Vinci's machine?
Follow us. They have hidden the path, but we discovered the entrance.
And camera changes and glitches. Follow and protect the mercenaries. So follow these guys, they say?
Get the bastard!
And we'll just pull out the sword and I assume these mercenaries can take at least a decent amount of damage. But when you're in the fight stance, it's hard to move quickly. And they haven't fixed that in 3 games. Honestly, if you start looking at this game from the perspective of things they haven't fixed in 3 AAA titles worth of releases, it is a massive amount of things that haven't been fixed or improved upon. There certainly have been a lot of things added, but it's often feels more like the case that they added new things instead of repairing the old things. And Assassin's Creed 4 in particular is a good example of that, where it just feels like they threw significant amounts of... Let's see if we can knock these guys out of their walking animation. Am I supposed to go down here? I think so. But these guys are walking in circles. Let's move some bodies out of the way. Maybe that's the case. Seriously, game. Am I gonna have to run away from these people and just desync? Or what? Is there something you want me to do? Open the gate, perhaps? Was that an idea? How does one open the gate? Is there perhaps a climb path I can take up to the taller sections? Like, there's nothing here. And I don't think I could... It's like a chest that doesn't mean anything. I suppose I could get up on the roof. See, he wants to run this direction, and this gate's in the way. And down here, I see nothing. So I'm gonna see if I can get on the other side of the gate. Maybe they'll clip through it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna lose and desync, and that'll be that. So reduce distance from the target. They are here, and I've just got to fail. Seriously, just have to fail. Ally lost. I had hoped for not another buggy experience, and we made it pretty far without running into a problem. Alright. try this again. I think if I have these hidden blades and I run, I could do maybe a double assassination, but maybe not. Come on. And how do they throw dirt? Because that's like not even a ability that I can do in this one. And I think you could have done it in the previous one. Are you guys ready? Don't screw up this time. And clearly the idea is that this was supposed to happen. Keep on killing people. Alright, now.
Cesare intends it as the centerpiece of his forces. His army prepares for a surprise assault on Sicilia.
We will stop the attack.
So it was just that the game bugged up. Look how big that handle is. That's out of scale.
We need to open the gate.
I will find a way.
And see, this section here feels like it was particularly just added, that they figured they needed more of a jump puzzle section, so instead of crawling through a sewer, they could have easily just had us walk right out of where we were. It had us do this. And since we're running here, I might as well meet them halfway and collect this. I have a deep suspicion that in sections like this in particular, those chests aren't anything. So up here, I think is where we should go. Hopefully this is the right direction and I'm not just accidentally going back where I came. It would be pretty easy to make that mistake. Nope. And why put water here? Just so I have to swim all the way back, isn't it? You rotten game. Couldn't even give me a little bit. I guess they're throwing me a bone with the chest here. Here we go. Attempt number 2. I'm thinking of this synonym example where imagine you are watching the Olympics. Do you want to watch the Olympians that are running in track stumble and fall and try it a second and third time? Or do you want to watch them potentially just make one clean run? Maybe not as fast as the world record, but
I will lower the bridge.
But still a clean beginning, middle, and end. And I feel like this game is making the argument that it wants to make you try to go for the world record. And I feel like from my gameplay style, I'd rather just have a smooth experience all the way through. So every time we mess up or there's a glitch and we have to desync and or restart or do any of that stuff, I just don't enjoy it. It takes me out of the game, it takes me out of the story. The story's already very weak in this game anyways. It's mostly hogwash.
Leonardo expects me to maneuver these. No instructions, of course. Forward! There.
So I think, if I was to guess, I can't hit these flags. This is... I think I could probably just run over people too, but this is not too bad. Now I think I should probably hit all these things just to make sure. Let's see, I almost want to just run over these people. Now I don't have very many bullets per second, so I need to be careful. You're hearing a lot of clicking where the game is telling me no, you can't shoot anymore. I've destroyed 6 of the 7 cannons. Done all the cannons. It seems like there's an explosive impact, so if I hit the ground at all, I get it to work. So it's like one guy behind here that I'm leaving in the dust. That's fine. Tactical camera versus normal camera.
Ours can be injured. So can theirs.
So we're now fighting 1 versus 1 on tank battle. This isn't too bad, but it's still not Assassin's Creed. It's still just this little side quest to distract us from all the boring regular gameplay, which there's been a lot. I feel like I'm coming off really critical of this game, and I know I am, but I don't know how to get away from it either. See, because I'm like, I got hit once and that killed me. I'm very surprised by that. I was looking at my health right just a second before I died, and I was just about to actually say, since this is tied around my health, that we're fine. But then the rules of the game apparently changed on me immediately. Let's see if we can hit it from there, and then see if we can. It seems like your cannons can only go so far. Is that not? No, there's 2 of them, and I didn't realize that. And the tank does have different health. I was just not paying attention to it.
You are crippling Caesar's army!
Gotta keep going. One more. So I think we have to blow up this tank too. And he does it with a cannon.
No, I wish I could keep you.
Suppose I can just be happy that we're now done with the Leonardo war machines. I seriously doubt there will be any more of these memories. Do not take any damage while in the tank. I don't think that would ever happen. And it doesn't matter anyways, we're never going to get 100% sync in any of the games. And frankly, it never mattered anyways. In any of the Assassin's games. Alright. So we've done them all, so Leonardo's going to give us
Ezio, news has
something.
spread that all my inventions have been destroyed. The disarray allowed me to work on something just for you.
What is this?
A new device to drift slowly from any height. It is not as cumbersome as my flying machine. You can take it everywhere.
Grazie, Leonardo.
Basically a parachute. Or a glider. And it will prove to be rather useful. And this is the place with that weird cardboard box Easter egg. So how do you use the parachute? Apparently you have to buy them from the tailor shops to use them. And I think you probably have to be of a certain height or falling before you can activate them. So there's a Leonardo point here, interestingly enough. And there's probably enough money to purchase one or two of these three things. So I could do any of those, but if I did do any of those, that would take me away from the main memory, and I think I'm much happier to just do the main memory. Next time we'll maybe run to the bank here and then do the main memory. The Central District is 98% built. Interesting. So there's something in this district we haven't rebuilt. What is that? What is the one thing we've missed in the Central District? The Campaign District, Campania District is 41%. The Antico District is 49%. Seems like there's only potentially 3 districts in this whole section, except for the Vatico District, which apparently doesn't have anything to rebuild in anyways. So how does this play out in memories? It's not the Da Vinci is Missing Memory DLC, which I'd never played before. And it's not part of Sequence 4, which is what we'll start next time and move on with. It's not a secret location, it's just its own war machines thing. And we can see there's no more of those. Good. Thank goodness. Or at least it seems like there's no more of those. I would have traded all the war machine missions, all 4 of them, for... it was more than 4, it was 8 because they were split in half. I would have traded all of those for just more Borgia Towers. Or the Borgia Towers just coming back into power after a time. Or more assassin missions, or even more thief and courtesan missions, or maybe some militia missions, which don't even seem like they're a thing. We need 6 more viewpoints. In Rome, there's still a ton of Borgia flags. In secret locations, there's a ton of Borgia flags. There's 3 feathers hidden somewhere that I'll probably find all the feathers without a treasure map. But if I was going to get all the treasures, yeah, there's like 64 more of those. If I was gonna get all of the treasures, I probably am gonna need a map for that. And that would be a big expense, but probably not that big of an expense considering we are rather set well. We have a decent amount of money in the bank, but it's not overfilling. And let's see, as far as weapons and supplies, let's see how far we are on all of this. We're not seeing any empty boxes. We haven't done any of the Keys of Romulus in a long time too. They really tricked us into having the idea that we were going to potentially get that armor really quickly, and it's totally not the case. So that's just bad game design in my opinion. I think if they had left that until much later in the DNA sequence when you could have actually gotten all the pieces, that would have been more interesting. Anyways, it's been another hour. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.